So let's get started. Well, good morning, folks, and welcome to our webinar. So today we're going to talk about predictive analytics for media sellers, really focus on maximizing sales performance. Just a couple notes. Today's session will be recorded, and a copy of that will be sent to you probably within a day or so. You should receive that. If you do have questions as we're going through this, they can be entered into either the chat or the Q&A section, and we'll get to those towards the end of the presentation. So our topics today are going to include, we're going to touch on some industry trends and observations. We're going to dive into a demo on how Salesforce can enable insights for ad sellers. We're going to look at Tableau CRM, and where that's headed as far as a roadmap. And a lot of times hearing and seeing this, that could spawn some questions on how do I start, where do I start, and we'll talk about that as well. And then we'll wrap up at the end with question and answers. So just real quick, from a presenter perspective, my name is Brian Walker. I am a client partner with Atrium. I've spent the past 20 years helping organizations improve their customer and employee experience. I'm joined on the presentation by Vic Stewart. Vic is a solution engineer with Salesforce, and also John O'Brien. John is an account director with Salesforce. They both focus on the media space there at Salesforce. So over the past few decades, enterprise systems have gone through an evolution and a transformation. You look at the 80s and 90s, and everyone was focused on how can I get all my finance processes, all my employees and customers into a system and start collecting data about them. Next was 2000s, and how can I take that data and start engaging other folks within the organization and maybe folks outside the organization, utilizing some of the technology around mobile, social, the web, etc. And then, finally, fast forward to today is how do we use that data to drive intelligent recommendations, to drive automation, and to drive some intelligent analytics. So at Atrium, we focus on unlocking the data that you've spent many, many years collecting and using that data to drive insights to action. So we blend business strategy with your Salesforce clouds and other third-party data, along with data science. We really help you take a data-driven approach. We'll help our customers focus on high-impact use cases that can drive better outcomes for the organization. There was a recent Gartner study, and it reported that this year in 2021, artificial intelligence will create $2.9 trillion of business value and 6.2 million hours of worker productivity, with the main area of that value being driven in the front office. Huge numbers. But what we've seen is the customers who have begun their AI journey, they've seen some of these benefits, where 45% of the customers have seen up to a 10% revenue benefit, and 50% of customers have seen up to a 20% cost benefit. There are challenges around this as well. Customers, sometimes they just don't know where to start or how to start. 70% of customers, they don't even have a data-driven strategy. 58% of customers, they're not using analytics or their data to drive a competitive advantage. And there's even a higher percentage that point to, it's our people and our processes. It's not not the technology that's causing us to not get started. And then you add to that some of the complexities in the ad sales arena. So there's many different categories of advertising, from traditional print and radio to some of the more modern types around programmatic and addressable. And oftentimes, sales of these different types of advertising, they can be tracked in different places. And it makes it difficult to get a real clear picture of what your total sales are. So, what if you could have the insights available to your ad sellers to really help them answer some questions that they're probably asking you today? So, am I pacing to my advertiser and agency goals? If not, show me where I'm falling short. And how is my advertising and agency spending trending compared to where I was last year? Maybe what's the likelihood of, make goods on specific campaigns? And are there specific advertisers that maybe they should be assigned to an account executive based on their likelihood to close? So, we hear these questions from our customers, and we've found some common use cases that drive insights within business processes, and they can really help guide daily priorities of your ad sellers. A couple of those, just as examples, are, how am I pacing to my goal? And based on that, which customers should I potentially focus on to attain my goal? Give me some insights into my pipeline, my bookings, and revenue across linear, programmatic, digital, and other channels as well. What's my likelihood to fulfill upfront commitments? Give me some insights and some potential actions to take so that I can ensure that these commits are met. So there again, some of the common use cases that we see our customers, embarking on. I'm actually going to turn it over to Vic Stewart now. He's going to show us how Salesforce can provide insights to maximize your ad seller performance. And Vic,
Yep. Thank you, Brian. Is the audio coming through okay?
yep, can hear you loud and clear.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so afternoon, everyone, or good morning, depending upon where you're at. Vic Stewart here, a solutions engineer at Salesforce, specializing in Tableau CRM. Used to be known as Einstein Analytics, so if you're familiar with that term, we rebranded it to Tableau CRM when we acquired the Tableau company. Want to take advantage of the great name that Tableau has in the marketplace. But a couple of differentiators about why Tableau CRM is unique in the marketplace. One, we really want to make it native to Salesforce, right? So it is just another Salesforce component. It's part of the product. And we're really trying to keep your analytics and your AI in the flow of the CRM. And we'll see that in the demonstration. I just mentioned AI. AI is built into the product. There is a machine learning algorithm. It's called Einstein Discovery. It's built into Tableau CRM, and it really is an open-ended machine learning algorithm that allows you to answer some of those likelihood questions that Brian showed on the other page. Really, anything that you want to maximize or minimize in your data, you can use Einstein Discovery to attack. So I want to minimize churn or maximize renewal rate. And I've got a couple of examples of that in the demonstration as well. It is a complete and connected platform, right? So again, part of Salesforce, but we really make it easy to not only take your Salesforce data, but we can also grab data from outside of Salesforce, bring that into the platform, massage that data together, either use that then for dashboards or use it for machine learning, but it's just all part of the Salesforce platform. And because it is part of Salesforce, we can automatically take advantage of the flexibility, the scalability, and the speed of the Salesforce cloud solution. In fact, I just saw some of the Dreamforce content that's coming out next month, and we're going to be showing at Dreamforce running queries against a 10 billion row data set with sub-second performance time. So extreme speed, extreme scalability, all out of the box with Tableau CRM. But enough of the slides. Let's actually take a look at the demo. So yeah, Brian, if you give me control, let me go ahead and share my screen. So should be looking at a Salesforce homepage, Brian. Does that look good? Okay, excellent. So I'm going to run through a two-part demonstration this morning. The first off is more of a day in the life. I'm going to come in as a user of Salesforce and an ad executive, and I just want to see how we can really, what I like to call invisible analytics, take the AI, make it invisible to the end user so they don't know that they're necessarily consuming analytics. You don't want them to have to go to a third-party website or to some other Excel spreadsheet or something to get their analytics. You just want to make it part of their regular Salesforce flow, so that they're given the right information at the right time in the right context to hopefully help them make a better business decision. So I'll walk through a scenario around that first, and then I just want to show some of the dashboards that we've created for some of our other media customers. So these are dashboards that either we built for demo purposes or some other folks want to use for some brainstorming. But I have a couple of different dashboards that just show some of the power and the flexibility of Tableau CRM and how it can be used to help you analyze your ad sales business. So that's the plan, and then we do have some time at the end for Q&A if there should be questions. So starting off this little vignette, I've logged on to Salesforce. I'm an ad executive. And right off the bat, I see my normal Salesforce content around the outside, so sort of nothing new there. But I now have an embedded dashboard in the upper left-hand corner, and this dashboard is really designed to give me, as a Salesforce user, the 2, 3, 4 pieces of key information that I need to go about and do my job today. So a couple of high-level KPIs, right? Year-to-date revenue, month-to-date revenue, what my goal is, what revenue is at risk based on how things are looking with my customers. So a couple of high-level KPIs just to set the stage for how I'm doing to this particular point in time. And then I have a couple of charts here, but both of these charts have some AI embedded in them. Over here on the right-hand side, I've got a revenue at risk by agency chart. I'm showing my upcoming revenue deals and the size of the deal on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I've got an Einstein likelihood to close score. And what I've done in this case is I've asked the Einstein Discovery Engine to take a look at all of my historical transactions, see which ones we've lost, see which ones we've won, and build a model around the deals that we've won. And I really want to find all the different patterns and trends in my data that most highly correlate to winning an opportunity. And once that model is built, I've then applied that opportunity to all of my existing deals and basically given them a score from 0 to 100. And then I've just put this in this nice little butterfly chart. So I'm now looking at the size of the opportunity versus its likelihood to actually win. And as a seller, I would be concerned that I've got my largest deal for the quarter there at 250K, only has a 50% chance of closing. I would want to take some action on that and do something to maybe make that a little bit higher. The great thing about Tableau CRM is that we do have actionability with Salesforce built right into the product. So I can just hover over the name of that opportunity, hit this little drop down, and then any actions that have already been defined in Salesforce are automatically available right from this dashboard page. So I can go in and maybe do an update, maybe post something to Chatter, give myself a new event or a new task to follow up on. But whatever makes sense for that use case, I can just do that right from the dashboard. I don't have to go back up to my opportunity screen or search for the opportunity. I can do it right here from my dashboard itself. Same thing or same idea on this advertiser health score, another predictive model that I've given it, a handful of criteria on how I calculate my advertiser's health, and it's gone through and it's built a model about that. And then it's ranked all of my existing open accounts with that same model. So I can start to see which customers have high health scores and which customers have ones that need to be worked on. So same idea here, this advanced communications, this is a customer that I'm working with this quarter. I really want to see them have a little bit higher health score. So again, I can hover over that drop down, see what actions I can take again, post something to Chatter, that's will most likely soon be post something to Slack. New tasks, new event. In my case, I'm just going to go and open up that actual Salesforce record. So when this record pops up, we see another embedded dashboard right across the top of the page. I don't want my users to have to go find this information. I want to present them the information that they need as they're doing their job in Salesforce. So as I'm on this account page, I'm seeing this customer's or this advertiser's monthly recurring revenue, and whether it's up or down over the previous quarter. I'm seeing their ARR numbers. I'm seeing their annual run rate. Whatever metrics make sense for your end users, put it right at top of all the pages to make it real simple for the end users to find that relevant information. And then the other thing that I have here are more details on that health score. So it actually turns out that the health score is about 62%. So I've got a metric to go with the actual score itself. But then we provide the end user the leading causes, right? Why the score is what it is. Well, in this case, they've been a customer for less than 2 years. That's a net detractor. Their year-over-year spend is down more than 20%, another net detractor. Their ARR is down period over period. Again, that's a negative. We do have one positive in here. Their MRR is up period over period, so that's seen as a positive, but still not enough to get this customer where I'd like them to be. The most interesting thing about this Einstein Discovery widget, though, is the how to improve this section, right? So since we've run a historical model against all of our previous deals, we now know in other areas where we've seen things cause an improvement in the health score. And it turns out that with our data, if we offer an early renewal discount or some sort of a bundle for linear and digital ads, that we've seen these things improve the health score by these percentages respectively. So this is now something concrete that the user could do to try to get their customer interested in. And we've seen historically that if we're able to do this, we can actually improve that health score and make this a better customer. So that's scenario one, right? Log in as an end user, see sort of a big picture dashboard, see some AI embedded there, see an issue, be able to drill down on that with the actionability of TCRM, get down to the actual record itself in Salesforce, then hopefully take some action to improve our overall outcome. So that's scenario one. The other thing that I want to show is just some of the different dashboards that you can create to really help your end users understand their data better. So I've got 3 or 4 different examples up here. I'm just going to start off with this pitch dashboard. It's something we mocked up for a potential customer. They just want to track the number of leads, the number of pitches, their big bet accounts, custom pitches that they had to do. They wanted to see whether the request was coming in as something that they reached out for, or if it was an RFP that came to them, or if it was reactive because they heard that they had a competitor doing it. But all these filters now, I can just start to click and click through my data and start to have all the numbers updated on the fly, so I can start to get a handle on where my business is coming from, and start to filter things this way. So, a very interactive experience with Tableau CRM. Of course, if you want more real estate, I could hide that and get more space. So that's one example, just more of a pitch dashboard that sort of gives you that big picture look on your overall leads and pitches. We've got one here for subscriptions. So we actually saw some of these on our embedded page. We just took sort of the ones that were relevant for an account to put them right on an account page. But this is a bigger picture dashboard that takes, in this case, the 9 KPIs that were most relevant for this customer. Put them all on one dashboard, make them real simple to see, real simple to understand. Each one has the current value, and then the previous period over period value, and then whether they're up or down by a percentage point, all color coded. So very simple to see a wide range of metrics on one page, and then see whether they're trending up or trending down based on the color coded indicators. So just another example, right? Again, pick the 5, 6, 7, 9 different KPIs that are most relevant for your users. Just make it right part of a Salesforce with a tab there and make it real simple to consume. If I am an account director, someone that is managing accounts, I've got this dashboard that we built. This is really designed to show them their pacing over time, and then see sort of some of the big metrics themselves that they're working towards. So again, sort of big button right up the front, the percent to goal, total current year-to-date billings versus their budget, what that budget versus billing trend is over the months. Then we can get it broken down by holding company or agency, get it broken down by channel, average cost per mile, average discount, a big chart on billings by advertiser. And of course, it's all interactive, right? So I can start to maybe focus on Gravity Media and then see all the numbers change to show just how that one agency is doing. And then the other thing that this dashboard has are the deep dive metrics down below, right? So I can see in detail now cost per mile, quota, revenue, future bookings, estimates, visibility, your percent to quota, whatever detailed metrics are necessary for your sales users to understand their business. You can put those right at the bottom of the page. And those, of course, filter just like everything else. So it's real simple to get down to an individual advertiser or agency and see how that customer is doing. And then the last one that I wanted to show is designed for an ad executive, an advertising sales reps and manager. And you'll notice that this one has the same exact look and feel as the dashboard that I'm on now. That was done on purpose. We wanted both the seller and the manager to have the same view of the data. So you can start to have a conversation about how your team is doing, right? If I'm a manager, I want to see how my team's doing overall. I can filter down to my individual account executives and sort of see how individual team members are doing. They could then call up that same exact dashboard that we just showed and actually see how they're doing as they're having those one-on-ones with their managers. But same idea, right? Big button, percent to goal, total billings, total budget, pacing over time, broken down by agency, broken down by channel. And then instead of having the detailed numbers here for the executive, we just have sort of their team and what all the deals are there. But this dashboard goes a little bit further. I can start to drill down here. Since I'm a manager, I can go over to my toggle view. Now I can see all that same information broken down by region. In my case, it's north, east, south, and west. But again, right, the big overall number, the pacing, and then the detailed numbers behind the scenes. And I can actually take that one step further and actually drill into the individual regions themselves. And then I can drill right down to my actual team members, right? So if I scroll to the bottom of this one, I can see all of my top sellers on my team and stack rank them, who's doing the most business, what agencies are we doing the most business with, what are the best advertisers, what are the channels. And again, all designed to be interactive so I can slice and dice and filter this data any way that I see fit to really get a big picture on how my folks are doing. And then I can just jump right back to where I started from and right back to that main page. So that's really everything that I wanted to show. Just two scenarios, right? Starting off as that end user, log on to Salesforce, see an embedded dashboard, see some embedded AI, see that big picture problem and be able to drill down and take action on that. And then more of a manager type view or a dashboard type view where I can log on and have a bunch of different dashboards, all still embedded within Salesforce. They don't have to go someplace else to get these dashboards. They're just part of my Salesforce experience. But whether I am an ad executive, an account director, if I'm caring about subscriptions or doing pitches, all those different types of dashboards can be easily made available right in the flow of work, right inside of Tableau CRM. So, Brian, I think that's everything that I was going to cover. I will hand it back to you.
Thank you, Vic, for that. So we're actually going to throw another poll up there as we transition here. This poll is going to be focused on, what type of organization you are when it comes to deploying solutions. There's a few choices there, so if you guys could do that, that would be helpful, and we will transition in the meantime. So bear with me for a second. Awesome. So while those poll results are coming in, we're going to turn it over to John O'Brien. John's going to walk us through kind of what's next with Tableau and Tableau CRM. You saw kind of where it is today with what Vic showed. But John, I'll turn it over to you and you can dive into some of the roadmap.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian. And how's the audio? Good?
Yep. Can hear you loud and clear.
All right. So while you guys are filling out your poll question, I'd just like to start with a thank you. I know that we've had over 100 people register for today's event, and we're all experiencing a lot of webinars. So we really appreciate your time. And I'm very, very happy to discuss our vision towards providing the most pervasive analytics offering to the market. One of the things that I wanted to start with is this slide, a question that comes up regularly, almost once a week at this point, is really how to identify the best analytics product. And, when we look back about, the historical kind of presence with Tableau as well as legacy Einstein, their success in the market pre the acquisition was really around understanding the end user's needs. And, as we look at our roadmap and our vision, we understand that this is part of a much bigger and broader ecosystem, and that Tableau, as well as Tableau CRM, can address different needs. So as Vic very eloquently demonstrated, Tableau CRM is focused predominantly on the Salesforce user, right? We provide AI-based insights, follow-up actions, all that are native to that CRM user experience so that you don't need to go and find information anywhere outside of the app. Everything is built right there within the flow. And this can be used across a variety of users, whether it's service, sales, marketing, but all inside the application. Tableau, on the other hand, offers a much, much broader end-to-end analytics platform that can be used for a variety of enterprise use cases. Tableau helps analysts more deeply explore data and answer strategic questions. It provides executives with a 360-degree view of their business. And it also is easy to embed into our customers' applications, such as web portals or any of the analytics that they offer to their customers. But what we're very happy to report to you today is that we have a large amount of customers that are using both, and that trajectory is growing by the day. So, Brian, if you click to the next slide, you don't need to build quite yet, but I just want to focus on where the two products sit today, right? So, Tableau was acquired by Salesforce. They are two separate standalone products that support unique use cases. But the great thing about the marriage is that they work very, very good together and work very, very good side by side. And this is the current state architecture. And what we're doing as a product team, as an organization, is building interoperability between the two so that there's a seamless end-to-end experience for the user that supports all those use cases that you're accustomed to with both Tableau and Tableau CRM today. And we've started that process by bringing Einstein Discovery, that engine that Vic showed, into Tableau extensions, into calculations, into prep. And we're going to continue to overload more and more features as we kind of integrate the two products together. So if you click the first build, awesome. Where we started, and I'm going to build this out a little bit more just in a second, but we started with predictive analytics, exploration, and data in terms of the marriage between the two. And we did this on purpose because these are three distinct kind of differentiators that we have in the market and we have now in the joint platform. So today, what's generally available for any Tableau user that is on version 21.1 or later, or any Tableau online customer, is the AI and ML piece, this bar that extends across the platform. And what we're doing here is this capability allows us to bring that rich AI ML capability, the predictions, as well as the recommendations to any user that lives both in the Salesforce application as well as a Tableau application as well. So if you build out the next piece, this is really around exploration of data. So where Tableau came to market and where Tableau began to grow and ultimately got to 5 million users plus, was really the ability to explore data very quickly from any source. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that deep Tableau exploration capability and bring that to your Tableau CRM data sets, so that all Salesforce data that you work with, that you trust, that has security behind it, can now be incorporated into your data exploration experience within Tableau. And the reason why there's that bi-directional arrow in the bar is that similarly, what you'll be able to do with the data that you collect from any source using Tableau, you'll be able to prepare that data within the Tableau engine and push that information into the Tableau CRM or Tableau CRM data store. So you'll now have the ability for that consumption inside of the Salesforce experience using both the Tableau as well as Tableau data sets. And that exchange will also happen where we're going to connect the Tableau CRM data store to get the benefits from like the high performance that you get from Salesforce, the horizontal scalability, the security that I'd mentioned already. So it'll be a vehicle to be able to easily write Tableau CRM data to Tableau so you can get power of all the Tableau exploration on the Salesforce data. And similarly, going the other way again, Tableau Prep, you'll be able to write all of your data from Tableau into the Tableau data store. So if you build to the next slide, this is really where we're kind of get to. And this is going to take some time, but you'll see all the layers of the two platforms kind of come together to really enrich and make that cohesive user experience available within any application, whether that's in the Tableau application standalone, the native Salesforce application, or into your external portals. So it'll enable exploration inside of Tableau, data from anywhere, including Salesforce data, bringing your Salesforce security, implementation, and configuration into any analytics platform. The powerful visualizations that you combine with the deep AI capabilities with data discovery will enrich that overall analytics platform for all of your users, whether or not they're CRM users or not. So they could be in Salesforce, in Tableau, in other applications. So that's kind of where our journey's going. And I want to make sure that I open up for enough questions. But if you have questions or you want to learn more about this, please sign up for Salesforce Plus and check out all of the Dreamforce sessions that are out there. Vic alluded to them earlier. There'll be a lot more both on our roadmap, our integration with Tableau, and then also one of the things that I didn't mention here, which is our integration with Slack. So thank you very much. Brian, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, John. That was really helpful and insightful. It was cool to see, Vic, your demo and show kind of where Tableau is today and Tableau TCRM, and then kind of transition into where you're going in the future. So love to see it. So so a couple things at the beginning of the presentation, we talked about artificial intelligence, some of the successes and challenges. Vic went through the demo, showed some great stuff. Some of the challenges are around, where do I get started? What do I do? And, we at Atrium, we work with our customers to determine kind of a baseline of where they are today. And we base that on a data driven maturity curve. And we found that most organizations fall somewhere between a level 1 and a level 2. So they have standalone reporting, they have some dashboard and reporting tools that push out some self-service reports. Those customers start moving up, the early majority customers, between level 3 and level 4. They're starting to dip their toe in the water of predictions, some of the models to surface insights, and really to put those insights into the daily flow of work, as Vic was showing. And then, we kind of move up to a level 5. If you remember during the demo, Vic showed that Einstein discovery card of some of the factors that are affecting, the customer score. There were some next best actions that she could be taking there to really improve and address those, some of the results and really help you out. And then moving up, we've got innovators, and really comes to how do I get those next best actions and recommendations, and how do I automate those and base those on specific data and thresholds as well. So, our approach to helping, customers move up the maturity curve is, we'll help you with your objectives and align on those business objectives across your company. And then we'll focus on, what approaches do you need to start realizing those business objectives? So really, what use cases should you be honing in on? We'll help you with the roadmap. So, based on all those different use cases, which ones will move the needle the quickest? We'll help you prioritize that roadmap. And, this is going to be a different way of working for a lot of your folks. So, who are the people who are going to consume those insights, whether they be descriptive analytics of what happened or predictive analytics of what, could happen? Who are those, identifying the actions that they're going to take, as well as identifying the data that's needed to support those actions, some of the insights and decisions that's out there. So that's our approach to getting you started. And really, we talked about a data-driven journey, and that's our approach at Atrium to getting you started on that journey. It is a journey; it doesn't happen overnight. but you saw some of the statistics on some of the benefits that customers have been getting. So with that, I will actually, before we open it up to Q&A, I don't know if I can show the poll results here. But while I'm trying to figure that out, Melissa, can you help us out? Do we have any questions that are teed up?
And
Sure.
Brian, the poll did appear on my screen, so it looks like that was shared.
Oh, it did. Okay, great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks all for answering that. And Melissa, what questions do we have?
Sure. We've got one here in the chat. I have 5 different systems to get a quote out the door. How can I get visibility into the process? Is this something you can help me with?
I can take that one. I actually bumped into this. Great question, by the way. Bumped into this like last week in a reverse demo. So with the Tableau CRM data store, we have the ability to connect to multiple data sources. We can bring that information into the Tableau data store and join that information together. Normally, when you're kind of looking at that progression and you want the analytics, it's really embedded on the opportunity page that you're currently seeking to see, where you are in the process. So as Vic showed, we have the ability to take all of that information, join that data together, and then display that on the opportunity page so that you don't have to go anywhere else to see where you are in that progression. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. We've got another one here. Post-sale, can the system help with understanding contract consumption and identifying accounts at risk for renewal?
Yeah, I'll jump in. This is Vic again. I kind of talked a little bit about that when I was doing the demo. So we can use that Einstein discovery machine learning algorithm to answer lots of those types of questions, right? So I think I showed an account health score, but you could just as easily do an attrition risk or churn risk. You could do the likelihood for an advertiser to re-sign up. You could do some sort of a numerical calculation like potential revenue for the type of deal we're looking at. The Einstein discovery machine learning algorithm it has a couple of different AI algorithms built into it. You can do a general logistical logarithmic. You can do an XGBoost, a gradient boost, and you can do random forest. You can actually run a model tournament, so it'll run every algorithm that we have and find the one that is the best fit for your data. So it really is an open-ended tool to ask a variety of different questions about your business. The best way to think about it is think about your data and then think about what you'd want to maximize or minimize. Right? I want to maximize revenue or maximize renewal rate or minimize attrition or maximize a health score. Think about your data in those terms, and Einstein Discovery can most likely help you out there.
Great, we've got another one here. I've just joined my company that uses Tableau and Salesforce separately. Am I correct in understanding that with our Salesforce license, we have TCRM? I wasn't familiar with Tableau CRM before this.
I can take that one too. So Tableau CRM is a separate license from Salesforce Core, whether you use Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud. The depository that we're talking about, the TCRM data store, resides on the Salesforce platform, but it is separate from your core licensing. So all of the rows and everything that we're doing to analyze the information, provide predictions and recommendations is separate from the storage that is associated to your core platform. So that's one of the reasons architecturally why we did it. It is also optimized for reporting. So it is a very high performant data store that Vic was showing in his demo.
Thank you, John. Okay, we've got another one here. Can you talk about the quality of data required to have meaningful and reliable AI predictions? 99% of the time, data in the system is not clean nor AI ready.
Yeah, you want me to take that one, John?
Sure.
Yeah, and we hear this all the time, right? My data's not ready for analytics. My data's not ready for AI. And in reality, if you wait for your data to be perfect, then you'll never get any analytics or AI done. So we recommend, well, we recommend a couple things, right? So one, it's very easy to use Tableau CRM just on top of your data, and that will help. That will start showing you where the data has issues, right? So you can start to do some basic reports and charts and graphs on the actual quality of your data quality, and start to see where you've got missing data, missing fields, that type of thing, to just sort of help you at least understand where you've got to do some work on the front end to get the data into the system more cleanly. And then on top of that, Tableau CRM does come with, we'll call it some lightweight ETL capabilities or ELT capabilities. Basically, the ability to manipulate data, do joins or augment different tables together. I can do some string manipulation to clean stuff up. I can do some bucketing to clean stuff up. We have actually some AI built into our data prep capabilities, so I can do sentiment analysis on some of my textual fields to see if the textual data is neutral, positive, or negative sentiment. I can do automatic clustering of some of my data. We can predict missing values. So if you have like cities and states in your data, and a bunch of the rows don't have the state filled in for whatever reason, the AI can actually infer the correct state based on the other rows around it that have similar fields. So we have some tools in the solution itself that can help you clean up some of your data just by doing regular data manipulation. And of course, just by doing regular analytics, charts, and graphs and things, you can actually start to see where some of your source systems are lacking, to help clean up the data upon data entry. So we really don't like to see folks not start to analyze this stuff just because the data is not perfect. Start with what you have. It will get cleaner over time as you start to sort of see where the issues are. And the good thing about Einstein Discovery is that it can continually update itself, right? So you can sort of put the scores back into the model. It can sort of adjust on the fly as you've got more and more data into the system. It can retrain itself to take better advantage of more clean data. So start now, and it will just get better over time. It's certainly better than nothing at this point.
Yeah, and just to add on to that a little bit, Vic. So at Atrium, we have a service that's called a data signal analysis, where we can help you take a look at your data and see what signals, predictive signals, that your data is giving off, and how we can use those signals to give you some predictive capabilities, and then identify areas where there, like Vic was saying, there might be gaps, and make some recommendations around that too.
Yeah, that's actually huge, Brian, because a lot of customers, right? I've got 5,000 fields in Salesforce. I don't know which ones I should be looking at, which ones are good, which ones are bad. So that's a huge value add there, helping sort of understand where there's actual signal and data, what can add value through AI. So that's a great service.
Okay, here's another one. Our Salesforce instance is very far behind in being set up. I love the dashboard shown for ad execs to show a drill down stats on an account, holding co-relationship along with agency, etc. How best do you suggest a company begin to create an account hierarchy within Salesforce so we can work towards a dashboard like that? Any tools, reading, advice you recommend?
I don't. I mean, that's a tough one to answer. The certainly there's some Salesforce best practices for setting up account hierarchies, and there's documentation of that we can. I'm assuming we know who asked that question, so we can get that sort of out of the box documentation to the end user. One thing I've always found, and I've done a lot of work with customers sort of on the back end when they're trying to get their reporting stood up, and oftentimes they will set up Salesforce, they'll set up their account hierarchies or their product hierarchies, or set up their front end to make it easy for either data capture or data entry, or because it flows with the way that they do business today. But what they're not thinking about is how they're going to report on that data on the downstream side, right? You might make this you might do something and it ends up being so complex that you actually can't report off of it when you need to report off of it. So there needs to be a balance to make it easy for the end users to get data into the system, but you also have to be able to generate meaningful reports on the back end to make full use of the data. So there's definitely some art and science combined there. Happy to get you the sort of the Salesforce best practices, but that might be one we want to take offline and sort of see about this particular customer's situation and what we can do to offer some help there.
Yes, we can definitely answer that one a little more directly. Okay, we've got another one here. Our pipeline management is a mess. Can Tableau CRM help? Do the AI ML predictions improve? Can we have more confidence about the predictions when we clean this up?
Yeah, so a couple things. So one, there is some out of the box pipeline reporting that comes with Tableau CRM. It's an included template. We actually have, I think, 25 or so templates that come with the product for sales and service and marketing and FinServe there's some technical ones, like if you use the Salesforce approval process, we have an out-of-the-box dashboard that just reports on that. There's some out-of-the-box templates that do things like snapshotting of data or slowly changing dimension data capture. So all those sort of templates just come with the product at no additional charge, which is great. So there's one specifically for pipeline management that might sort of help in that area. As far as the AI getting better over time, yes, you can actually write the scores back to the actual record, and then we can see whether the actual event happened that matched the prediction, right? So if you're predicting whether a account is going to churn or not, we can write that prediction back to the record, and then if the customer ends up churning and we predict that it doesn't, then the model can adjust based on the fact that we got that one wrong. So the model does learn over time if you want it to do so. And there's also a whole series of model metrics that are included with the Einstein Discovery machine learning algorithm that gives you the confidence in the model, right? So you get the R squared in there. It shows you the area under the curve for the appropriate model. So it gives all the math that goes into making the model, and you understand completely whether that model is a good model based on your data or not, and then you can maybe go back and tweak it if it's not. So all that stuff is included with the product. No extra charge there. It's just part of the solution.
Thank you, Vic. Okay, we've got another one here. I saw a lot of reports based on standard data. Can you mention how few examples in which AI was used?
Yeah, so AI was used on the first dashboard. Actually, when I first logged on to Salesforce, we were looking at the home page. Those two dashboards had AI in the dashboard. So the one on the left was my account health score, which was an AI prediction. And then the one on the right was that butterfly chart that had two sets of data. The data on the left of the chart was my opportunity amount, and the data on the right of the chart was the Einstein likelihood to close, right? Whether I was going to win that deal or not, another AI prediction. So I can have AI show up either on the account record itself when I had that little Einstein Discovery widget that showed my actual health score with the reasons why and the actions you can take. You can embed AI right on the record like that, but I can also take my AI scores, make them part of a Tableau CRM data set, and then put them into charts and graphs and dashboards so that people can consume AI at a whole scale level. So a couple different ways to report on the AI output.
Okay,
Great.
I think that's it for questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you,
Great
Melissa.
questions.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you all for attending. We appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys got some good information out of this. One of the things that we do want to offer for those of you who did attend a free intelligent workshop that we can offer to you. I talked about defining personas, defining use cases, prioritizing those use cases, and creating a roadmap. Would certainly love to help you out with that. Here you can see John O'Brien's, you can see Jerry as well, and myself. You can see our email addresses. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to help you. So with that, again, thank you all for attending, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.